Hello YouTube, I'm Tallman Brad, and today we're going to have a look at the laser antenna. We'll see the differences between that and a regular antenna, an example of where you might use them and how to set them up, including some problems you might face. This tutorial was a request from Crocodile. I'm not making that up. And if you have any tutorials you'd like to see, just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Remember to like the video if you find it or any of my video tutorials useful, and of course subscribe so that you can easily find more. Okay, let's go. So on the right here we have the laser antenna, and on the left we have the regular antenna. Now these are both large grid versions. So what's the difference between the two? Well, the laser antenna has an infinite range. The standard antenna is restricted to 50 kilometers. The laser antenna must have line of sight to work. That means there must be nothing between one laser antenna and the other. The laser antenna potentially uses a lot of power. It's invisible to enemy, whereas your standard antenna is not invisible. And the downside also with the laser antenna is that it can be quite complicated to set up. So I'm going to try and show you how to do that now. Typically, you would use a laser antenna to connect two bases together that are on different planets. I could connect this laser antenna to a base on that planet there because there is nothing obscuring them. Now that's a long way off, so I'm going to simulate connecting to another planet by connecting to something else further away on the same planet. Over there, there's a crashed ship. And I would like to be able to connect that using a laser antenna to this base to control things in this base. Now remember that the laser antenna works exactly the same way as a normal antenna. You can do the same things. The only differences are the things that I mentioned in the list: power consumption, the distance, and the complications of setting it up. Now for ease, I'm just going to place a control panel on the side of this laser antenna. Now, the first thing I want to do with this is to name it. So I'm going to access the control panel, look for laser, there it is, and I'm going to change the name to laser antenna base. Now the range is currently set to 50,000 kilometers, but if I slide this up you can see it goes all the way to infinity. Bear in mind that the power consumption for infinity is going to be pretty huge, so you may need reactors, and you may need several reactors to be able to power those. So put it somewhere where it's fairly realistic. I'm going to do control and click and type that at 50,000. Let's just have a look at the options. Standard settings there. But here are the important parts. We've got copy my coordinates, paste my coordinates. You need to know exactly where the laser antenna is that you're connecting to. So I'm setting up one antenna on this base, and I'm going to set up another antenna on another base. So I'm going to copy the coordinates of this antenna to the clipboard, and then when I build the laser antenna on the other base, I will paste those coordinates. Let's go and do that now. So I'm over at my crash ship here. Now this could be a base. This is a large grid ship, so that's pretty much the same thing as a base, and it could be on another planet. You can see I have a clear line of sight to my normal base, which is just over there, and you should be able to see that there are no antenna markings. There's nothing visible because all of the ranges on everything there, except the laser antenna, are all set to 1.5 kilometers. So that runs out somewhere around this distance away here. So I'd like to be able to communicate with my base over there. So let's place down a laser antenna on this ship. And the same as with the other one, I'll just pop a little control panel on the side so we can access it and see the controls. So F to enter that. Then I'm looking for laser antenna. There we go. And we're going to change the name for ease, and we'll call this one the crash ship. That will do. Further down the list you can see we've got the copy my coords option. Now that will obviously be for this new laser antenna that we're looking at here, but then we've also got paste coords. So if I click on that now, it'll take from the clipboard the coordinates of the other antenna on the base. Then you can see it's looking for it, It's trying to establish a connection. Now it's saying it's connected to the laser antenna base. So now we've established a connection between the two laser antennas. What can we actually do? Let's jump in the pilot's seat of this ship and see. So held down shift, tapped K, got this menu up. Now what am I looking at here? Well, I'm looking at everything that this ship can see, and it's only got the laser antenna on it. So it's using the laser antenna to access the Earth base, and then the Earth base is using its own normal antenna to relay information to the basic miner, which also has an antenna on it, the little ship I use in other tutorials. But a very basic thing we could do is we've connected to the Earth base through its laser antenna. Let's click on terminal and have a look. So now I'm looking at the actual Earth base. So we've got things like the hangar doors, which we could open. So you can't see that from here. Close, and the lights, which we can turn on and off. And then, of course, there's things like the production side. We could set it away, assembling some construction components for when we go back to the base. So there's a very basic use of the laser antenna, but let's look at something a little bit more complicated. What else can we do? I'll just come out of there. I'll do Shift and K again. Because my basic miner has a remote control block and an antenna on it, and it's parked next to the base over there, I can take control of it. So if I click on control now my screen has changed. Notice the toolbar at the bottom of the screen is actually the toolbar for the mining ship on the base. If you notice, number 1 is to turn the thrusters on and off, number 2 is the camera, and then number 9 is the landing gear. So if I press 2, I'm now looking through the camera on the basic mining ship on the base. So now if I hit 1 and to turn the thrusters on, and 9 to unlock, I can actually take control of the little miner, and we can take off, and we're actually sitting still in that ship over there. Okay, so let me demonstrate a little problem that's going to arise. Here's a scenario. We're on the crash ship, we have a connection, we want to send the miner over, maybe to pick us up so we can fly back to the Earth base. So let's do that. We've got control, let's fly over there and we'll see what happens. Now if you notice in the bottom right hand side of the screen in blue it says 1.33 kilometers. That's the distance away we are from the Earth base. Now the antenna on the miner has a range of 1.5 kilometers. The normal antenna on the base has a range of 1.5 kilometers. Now they're not standard, that's just what I've set. And this base here is over 1.5 kilometers. So let's keep going. Oh, it's just quit out. And notice my toolbar on the bottom of the screen has gone back to the toolbar for the ship that I'm sitting in. So let's see what's happened. The mining ship is on its way over, but we lost control of it. Now the reason for that is because we were connected from the crash ship using the laser antenna to the base over there, using its laser antenna, but then the base was using its normal antenna to connect to the miner. Now the range was restricted to 1.5 kilometers. That's what I set. So it's now gone out of range. So we are no longer controlling the miner via the base. That's a problem. How do we fix that? Well, the way to do that is to go over to the miner and to place a small grid laser antenna on the miner. So number 8 will bring up, it's quite a large small grid laser antenna, and we'll place that on top. There we go. And the same as before, I'm going to name that just for ease. I'll access through the panel here. Hitting F, we'll go into the control panel and look for laser antenna, and I'm going to change the name of that to miner. So it's laser antenna miner. I'm going to have a look. The range is at default of 50 kilometers. I'm going to copy the coordinates of where it is right now and go back to the ship over here. So back in the control seat of the ship, let's bring up the control panel and we'll look for the laser antenna on the crash ship. There it is. And now I'm going to paste the coordinates that I've just copied from the mining ship. It's looking for them. There we go. It's found it, connected to laser antenna miner. Now the problem is, if we start moving the mining ship now, it's going to disconnect because it's going to come out of those coordinates. So what we do is we put a tick next to permanent connection. And what will happen there is the two antennas will update each other with the information on exactly where they are. Let's test it out. So Shift and K. There's our basic miner. I'll go to Control. Notice the toolbar on the bottom of the screen's changed back to the miner. I'll hit 2. There's our camera for the miner. And we know we're out of range of this base, so I must be controlling it by the laser antenna. So let's try it. Flying, I'm moving. I've moved well away from those coordinates now. So if it wasn't working, it would have disconnected. Let's just go up. The controls on this are terrible because it is a very, very basic miner. And notice, if you can just see as I swing around here, notice the laser antenna on the ship is rotating to face us. Okay, so we've changed our mind. We don't want the mining ship anymore. Let's take it back to the base. So I'm back at the base with the mining ship. I'm still physically sat in the ship over there, and I have control of this. So now I'm going to land the mining ship at the base, and let's see what happens here. We've lost connection. And the reason for that is because now the mining ship is obscured by the base. Let's have a look. Yep, so there's our mining ship. And if we have a look for the line of sight, there's where we were controlling it from. If we just come round here, we'll see, oh, just there, barely there. Yeah, it's just obscured by the rotor blades, and that's enough. That's been enough for it to break the connection. So there's a very quick look at laser antenna, where you might use them, how to set it up, and some of the problems that you might come across. I hope it's been useful. Remember the like thing, and if you have any tutorials that you'd like to suggest, let me know. If I can do a tutorial on it, I'm happy to do it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye bye.